All right, is it 9? Hey guys, happy Saturday morning. Going on here in a little bit here. Let's see. To chat. Hey Jeff. Hey Vicky. A lot of questions we're getting regarding the this virus outbreak, the corona virus. I'm on my cell phone. How does the quality and the sound work on the cell phone since I'm on that now? Is it okay for you guys? I don't get the chat box, but I think I see you if you're gonna type something on. All right, let's pull this up to the live Facebook. Type in something and let me see if I can see your chat. Oh, okay, I can see your chat. Sounds good on the cell. That's good. Okay. So there is a bunch of questions that I had about this virus outbreak. And the first thing you should know is that the preventive measures for the coronavirus be the same as the preventive measures for the flu. The coronavirus is a virus that is a little bit flu. It's it looks like a kind of like a tennis. And so let me see if I can find an example somewhere. Oh, with spikes. And so these spikes on the tennis ball is what attaches itself. If for example, it went into your nose and these spikes stuck inside your nose. And by the way, this is how the cold virus gets to you. If the spikes get, hey Agnes, good morning. If the spikes of the virus get stuck in your nose, then it causes congestion symptoms, and good morning, Steve, and it causes symptoms of a cold, right? If the spike of the virus, which goes down and gets stuck in your lungs, what happens is the virus attaches to the cells of the lung, goes inside the cells, and it starts to divide. As it divides, it kills the cells. This is how it develops over time. It destroys essentially your lungs, and as it destroys your lung cells, it's one of the leading causes of death from this virus is a type of pneumonia. It's why a lot of folks with this coronavirus, they die from hypoxia, they die from not being able to breathe and have oxygen exchange, because the virus is essentially destroying the lungs and the alveoli. When the virus goes into your lungs and it destroys the lungs and more viral cells are being made, more viruses are being made, your immune system attacks the virus. And as the immune system is aggressive trying to figure out how to attack this virus, keep in mind that this is a new virus to the human immune system. Our immune system doesn't know what coronavirus is, or specifically this one. And so since it doesn't know it, it's a larger immune response, a larger attack. And as it attacks it, it creates a lot of inflammation. And as inflammation is being created, it destroys the lung tissue and drops your blood pressure, and it it causes hypoxia and all those issues as well, to cause death. Question is, does the N95 mask really protect us from the virus? Yes, the N95 mask is the mask of choice because of the 99% filtration rate from viruses. As long as there's a good seal, and you should be protected. The other thing that people aren't aware of is that you may be protecting this, but you may not be protecting your eyes, right? And if the virus, which spreads through droplet particles, if any of the droplet particles from somebody who is infected gets into your nose, your mouth, or your eyes, those are different pathways of infections. It doesn't. So this virus isn't spread through what we call airborne spread. This virus is spread through droplets. Droplets is essentially from little droplets from a cough, from a sneeze, right? And does anyone know when you cough and sneeze how far that droplet travels? Any guesses? Any thoughts on that? Type in your answer if you have some thoughts on that. How far a sneeze travel when you are sneezing, right? Hey, Joanna, I can text. So, yeah. Do I look a little tired, guys? Do I look infected? So, yeah, I didn't sleep that well last night. Yeah, the droplet travels about 6 feet. So the droplet travels for about 6 feet, guys. Quinn, yes, just like TB. Thanks, Quinn. If you guys don't know, Quinn Pham is one of our nurses and an expert in TB and infectious disease, blah, blah. But it travels about 6 feet. So if someone is sick and they're sneezing, that sneeze can go for about 6 feet, which is why it's really important to kind of isolate yourself or to be isolated if you are predisposed to this type of infection, of spreading the infection. So about 8 days ago, the infection rate was about 10,000 patients, and the death rate was around 200 people who have died. That was about 8 days ago. As of last night or this morning, the 35,000, and the death rate has exceeded 700. So you can kind of see how fast this thing is spreading, from 10,000 to 35,000 patients in about, from 200 deaths to over 700 deaths in about 10 days. So a little freaky, you think about it, with the rate of spread. Now, let me see Agnes's question here. All right. Agnes says, so far the new coronavirus DUB-219 NCOV has led to more than 20,000 illness and 722 deaths in China, as well as more than 200 illness deaths outside the main. But that's nothing compared to the flu in the USA. The USA alone, the flu has already caused an estimated 19 million illness, 180,000 hospitalization, and 10,000 deaths. 100% correct, according to the CDC. The rate inflated. So let me talk real quick about the flu virus versus corona, okay? Versus the Budweiser virus. So the flu virus has killed at least 10,000 Americans this flu season alone, which is just over the last year. It's hospitalized over 100,000 patients and have caused millions and millions and millions of infections, right? And obviously nobody's panicking about the flu virus while the world is panicking about Wuhan virus. What is the difference? Why aren't we panicking about the flu virus? And yet everyone is sensationalized over this coronavirus. The difference is this. The flu virus also spreads super quickly. And I would say that we should worry about the flu virus just as much as the Wuhan. The difference, though, is that the death rate of the flu virus is 0.1%, which means 0.1%, which means if you have 1,000 flu patients, one will die, right? I think that's my calculation. I think that calculation is correct. Does anyone Asian here, can you confirm that? If you have 1,000 patients, right, who get infected with the flu virus, one will die. That's 0.1%. That's my semi-Asian calculation. But the Wuhan virus, if you have 100 infections, 2 will die. That's why folks aren't as panicking about the flu virus compared to the Wuhan virus, because the death rate is 2% versus 0.1%. So the mortality rate is much lower with the flu virus, although the rate of spread with the flu virus is quite huge. Again, we've had over 100,000 patients already hospitalized. I know because I'm in the ER weekly admitting these patients, right? And it is pretty bad. But again, the death rate from the flu is only 0.1. The official death rate from the coronavirus is 2%. But let me tell you this. Many of us are suspicious that this 2% number is underreported. Many of us believe it's way, way higher than 2%. And I'll tell you why. The only way you can officially document a death from the coronavirus is if you are in the hospital and you have been tested positive for the coronavirus. Then you become a number, right? A death number in this count. But the truth from what we've heard is that there are many people who die outside of the hospital with this infection and are never calculated as part of that number. Because the hospitals are full, right? The hospitals are full. They could not accommodate everyone. And so people are dying at home. People are dying outside the hospital. And those numbers are never calculated in this count. The second reason we think that this number may be underreported is that, quite frankly, there is a shortage of testing kits for the coronavirus. And so they aren't testing everyone. They're testing those who are super sick or who they feel like needs to be tested. There's a shortage of testing kits. And we get that from reports in China, even in patients or even in those who work in the hospitals, and they go on YouTube and different things of that sort to kind of report the condition. And so what we're hearing is that there's a shortage of testing kits, which means you cannot test everyone. So there are probably people with this virus that goes around undocumented, untested. And number two, there are probably people dying at home and dying outside the hospital who have never been tested for corona. So yes, we feel that this number is probably very underreported. We think that it's probably over 2%. Whatever that percentage is, who knows? Nobody knows what that percentage is, right? But that 2% is probably underreported, unfortunately. The coronavirus usually hangs out in wild animals. The coronavirus is not a virus that hangs out in humans normally, like SARS, right, or MERS years ago. It didn't start from humans. It normally starts in some type of animal, like a bat or whatever that is, and then that wild animal, the virus somehow mutate, and that through the mutation it adapts and to it latches on to a human, and that infection now spreads in human as it mutates and allows human to human spread. So that's why we're afraid of this virus, because this virus is not one that is recognized by our immune system. And when the immune system is completely, doesn't know what this virus is, it allows the virus to spread quickly before the immune system figures out how to attack this virus and how to defend itself against this virus. And when it tries to figure it out, it comes in the game kind of late, when the virus has already destroyed your lungs, caused pneumonia, caused sepsis, and which is why the death rate is 2% or higher. SARS back in 2003. If you guys don't know what SARS stands for, it stands for severe acute respiratory distress syndrome. Severe acute respiratory distress syndrome, which means all of a sudden the virus gets into your lungs and it spreads so quickly before your immune system figures it out, and then you're dead, right? The SARS virus, the mortality rate was 10%. 1 out of 10 people died from that virus. And it's also a coronavirus, right? 1 out of 10 died. So this virus here today, this type of coronavirus, the death rate obviously is not 1 out of 10, or at least we don't know that it's 1 out of 10. It's not really calculated or tabulated correctly. But officially, at 2%, which many of us are kind of suspicious about that number, it's why the death rate is higher than the flu. It's higher than the flu because our immune system completely doesn't know it. It comes from an animal, and by the time the immune system figures it out, the virus has already attacked our lungs and we're dead. It's exactly why we're worried about this outbreak. But again, the protection you need to do is going to be the same protection as the flu, right? Wear a mask if you're out, wash your hands often. If somebody's sick with the flu or with, corona, what normally happens is this. The virus is all over here because they're sneezing, they're coughing, and what happens is they touch their face, right? We don't really realize it, but we're like this all day, whatever. And then we go and we open up the doorknob of a door, and the virus lives on the doorknob for a few hours. And the next person that opens the doorknob, guess what? They caught the virus. It's how that works, right? The next person that catches the doorknob is how they get the virus. And then that person goes like this, and then that virus gets into their nose, their mouth, their eyes, and that's how it spreads. So when a person is wearing a mask, they're really protecting themselves against themselves as opposed to protecting against somebody else. Actually, if you're a person who's sick, it's definitely better that you wear the mask than a non-person who's not sick wear the mask. But anyway, I don't know if you realize there's a cruise ship, the Princess, Carnival Princess, I think, with 63 patients who'd already diagnosed on that cruise ship because of the proximity of everyone on the cruise. It's pretty scary. One of our family member in the longevity group is on that cruise ship, guys, right now. She texted us last night on this page. So keep her in prayers. She's telling us that people with fevers are popping up now here and there in the cruise. So one of our Longevity Institute family member here is on that boat. So keep her in prayer with that. So anyway, guys, Vicky says, what animals? Vicky, we heard maybe bats. We heard maybe some exotic wild animals. So who knows? It's probably an animal that's wild that should not be eaten. The exception is chicken feet. I think chicken feet is good and it's okay, and I think it's antiviral. I think it's antiviral with that. So you only get this type of knowledge in the longevity group, right? Only in the longevity group do you get to learn that chicken feet is antiviral, and
No.
and so I think it's time for me to go eat chicken feet, guys. Any other questions before I go and eat some chicken feet and break my fast for today? With that, so I hope this helps you to kind of figure out what's so different between the flu virus versus the coronavirus, and how those viruses are different. I hope that you know that this is quite serious. The death rate is at a minimum 2%, but realistically more than 2% due to under-reporting and due to the fact that under testing as well, due to the lack of testing kits. We are planning to send we're planning to send more kits over to Hong Kong. If you can help with sending or finding N95 masks for us for Tongue Out, send it my way and we will ship it to Agnes Lee. Agnes Lee is on our chat group here, guys. She is our Hong Kong contact. And we'll ship it over to Agnes, and Agnes will ship it to Hong Kong for us. So if you are able to help with that, let me know. And just drop by local Home Depots and Lowe's and see who has them and who don't. Tongue Out will pay for it all. You buy it, and we'll reimburse you, and we'll ship it to Agnes. And hopefully Agnes will be able to get that over to Hong Kong. Apparently they're running out of masks in Hong Kong, and so it's an issue. Most viral infections, guys, most of these outbreaks, most of the time the virus normally dies over the summer because of the hotter weather. I'm hoping that the virus will die over the summer and that this entire epidemic stops. That's my prayer. I don't know if that's the case, but like the flu, and the flu epidemic dies over the summer. Every year the flu goes away. I'm hoping that this infection, this coronavirus, also will die by the time June starts. We've already just canceled our Vietnam March trip, and that's an issue. Talar, yes, you can give money and we will buy it. You can just donate to our Tongue Out site. If you want to donate money to buy masks, just go to tongueout.org, our site. You can donate to there, and then I'll have people to go look for the masks for you guys. And we appreciate it so much. Agnes says there's more cases in Singapore than Hong Kong. Yes, it's pretty crazy, guys. It's starting to spread. Vietnam has over 12 cases now. Vietnam just set up kind of like field hospitals to prepare for this. And so more countries are seeing more cases. The only way we're going to stop this is if we isolate folks who are at risk for about 14 days so that they don't go out and infect somebody else. With an incubation period up to 2 weeks, you can walk around for 2 weeks without symptoms while spreading the virus. That is the scary part about this virus with this incubation period. All right, guys. Again, if you can find mask and wanted to send it to me, I will send it to Agnes Lee, who will send it to Hong Kong. If you want to donate money for us to look for masks and buy masks, you can go to tongueout.org, donate. there, and we would use that money to go buy the masks. The question is, does N95 mask need to be fitted? Officially, yes, but realistically, you cannot do that to entire public to do fitting and all that stuff. So as long as you have a mask, it's still better than not having a mask.
More importantly, he's washing his hands.
Vicky says, is the flu a 14-day incubation period? No, the flu is not a 14-day incubation period. It's only a few days, whereas the coronavirus is a 14-day incubation period. All right, guys. Chicken Feet is calling me because I need to go and start my antiviral protocol with Chicken Feet. I will chat with you guys later. Have a great Saturday. Everyone stay safe and talk to you soon, okay? I hope this was helpful. God bless.